Okay, call the meeting in order. In accordance with state statute section 84-1412, the Open Meetings Act is posted on the north wall in the council chambers for public information. Would you join me in a pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Debbie, would you do roll call, please?
Stokely.
Here.
Penrose.
Here.
Swenson.
Here.
Boozy.
Here.
Hugo. Smith.
Here. Okay. The consent agenda. City appointed boards and commissions, we have none this evening. Fire and rescue departments, we don't have anyone. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Treasurer's report, everything's good there. Claims, everybody get a chance to go through that. Okay, I just need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Rusty.
Second.
Seconded by Tom. Cast your votes, please. Okay. Public hearings. We got rezoning of lots 5 and 6 in Block 8 in the Colburns addition to the city of West Point, Cumming County, Nebraska, from residential single-family district R1 to highway commercial district C2. Alex and Whitney Stern.
Yeah, the Planning Commission reviewed this, and Alex and Whitney were present there at the meeting also, and they gave you a favorable recommendation to move forward with the rezone.
Any discussion on this? Anybody have any questions? Everybody knows where it is.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
Motion made by Shay, seconded by Rusty. No, we can't make a motion. Yeah, we got to read the ordinance first.
Suspend the 3 readings.
City of West Point, Nebraska, ordinance number 1439, an ordinance of the City of West Point, Nebraska, amending zoning ordinance number 1401 to rezone the area described herein from residential single district, family district R1 to highway commercial district C2, repeal all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, prescribing the time when this ordinance shall take effect and providing for the publication of the ordinance in pamphlet form.
Okay, now I need a motion to introduce and suspend the 3 readings.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by Shay, seconded by Rusty. Okay, now I need a motion for final passage.
Make the motion.
Motion made by Mark,
Second.
seconded by Tom. Okay, bids, we have none this evening. Current business, number 1, Cumming County Economic Development, discuss the West Point Community recertification.
Do you want to start this, Dave or Vanessa?
Actually, we should probably have Chris come up and talk about it, and Vanessa.
Okay.
Thank you. See you, Alex.
Hi.
Hello.
This is Chris Rasmussen from the Department of Economic Development, who is the certification authority on economic development. So we're going to say she's the authority. And Vanessa's done all the work on doing this recertification. She kind of got everything thrown at her when she started, and she was able to get it done. So she gets all the credit.
Thanks, Vanessa.
But what this, I guess what this does is it provides us some economic development opportunities, both through DVD and some opportunities in that direction. And we were last certified in 2017, so this is a renewal for that certification. So it's something we want to keep going and maintaining. With that, I'll just let you have that.
Okay. Did you want to say anything yet? Oh, I'm good. Okay. Do you mind if you hold that, please? Thank you. I brought notes because, don't want to miss anything. Good evening. My name is Chris Rasmussen, and I'm with the Department of Economic Development. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight and celebrate this milestone achievement with your community. On behalf of the Nebraska diplomats and the Department of Economic Development, I am pleased to announce that the City of West Point's recertification in the Nebraska Economic Development Certified Community Program, also known as EDCC for the rest of this, Nebraska's EDCCs are a part of an elite group of communities known for their extensive strategic planning and implementation of local incentives. With these activities, cities like West Point are progressively working to help recruit and retain businesses and help your community grow. Since West Point's certification in 2017, your city leaders, Cumming County Economic Development, and community members have worked tirelessly to create development opportunities that include, not limited to, this is a short list of everything you guys are doing and have done. West Point's recent housing projects, Prospect Ridge Apartments, which took a vacant nursing home and created 22 apartments, the Duplex Housing Project, which was finished in December, your pool renovation, which is currently in process, and the addition of an all-inclusive playground in Neely Park. This all shows your dedication to helping local families thrive. Cumming County Economic Development Innovation Station is undoubtedly creating a welcoming space for budding entrepreneurs, and their entrepreneurial analysis is another great step in your ongoing strategic planning to encourage the development of new businesses. As you celebrate 6 years of leadership as a Nebraska EDCC, we thank you for all you have done and your continual investment in your community and our state. The state of Nebraska, the Department of Economic Development, and the Nebraska diplomats are proud to recognize the city of West Point as a member of the EDC program and are welcome, and we welcome the continued opportunity to help you grow. So tonight we celebrate the city of West Point on its recertification. Everyone that took part in this should be proud. There's a lot of people that are involved in this whole process, and you are one of 40 communities in the state that have this designation. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your hard work. Good guys. Appreciate that.
Could we do a picture, please?
Yeah, we get everybody.
Big photo op.
Go around. My husband says I can talk.
Yeah, we're crazy. We go right from.
Thank you. Do you need help getting that rolling, or?
I think I can do it.
Okay.
You be tall guy running back. Yeah.
Get up here, Vanessa.
You're left there looking.
I said, good look once in front.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet
How you
you.
doing?
Right in here, Bruce.
I'll stay here.
We're going to have you come up here. I'll just stand with you.
I do need a passcode.
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's what my wife said.
okay.
Do we need to move this?
Can you see everyone's face?
We're going to hide this behind Vanessa. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes, thank you. Good to see you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to see you again.
See you again.
And we'll see you later.
I'm sure we will.
Oh, yeah.
Since we're talking economic development, you give me about 5 minutes? Sure. Just want to let you know that Innovation Station, USDA has approved a grant for us for utilities and stuff like that for $34,000 for the next year, so that's going to help down there, so we'll be able to do more there. We also applied for a fellowship where IEDC is willing to pay $75,000 plus $15,000 a year stipend to have an economic development specialist come to our community for 2.5 years. So cross your fingers on that one because he would work at Innovation Station. One of the nicest things, hopefully by the end of July, the Dave Kreckmeyer building will be gone. We've got the asbestos removal approved. We've got a grant approved through NDE. So we're hoping to have that property gone. At our board meeting at the end of this month, we'll be voting on how to proceed with that property once it is gone. We have multiple people interested in that property. So And both are people that are interested in the property are looking at retail. So very interesting stuff going on. And thanks again for all you guys do here. So,
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, next on the agenda, consider lot split request of tract of land being 1.76 acres located in the southwest quarter, northwest quarter of section 25, township 22, north, range 6, east of the 6 p.m., Boone County, Nebraska, located within the city's 1 mile jurisdiction. This is Ed Rock's property.
Yeah, this is just a simple lot split. It went before the planning commission because it's less than 10 acres. Engelmeyer, the equipment out there is looking to expand, so it's going to sell them a portion of that property, that 1.76 acres. And the planning commission did review and approve that also.
Any discussion on this? Anybody? Everybody knows where it's at?
Is that right next to the other development?
No, it's right next to Engelmeyer Repair. It's north on the blacktop. Okay, we just need a motion authorizing variance from the subdivision requirements and permit the division of said tract into 2 parcels. I'll make a motion. Motion made by Rusty.
Second.
Seconded by Shay. Cast your votes, please. Okay. Item 3, the Sunshine Center. Accept the 2023 Title III-B, Title III-C, Title III-E service contracts with Northeast Nebraska Area Agency of Aging.
This is just an annual thing that we do with them to provide for funding through the Northeast Area on Aging.
Any discussion on this? Okay, just need a motion to accept the contracts with Northeast Nebraska Area Agency on Aging.
Make the motion.
Motion made by Mark.
Second.
Seconded by Ryan. Cast your votes. Okay. Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, quarterly reports.
Good evening, everyone. You would have gotten my written report. Just a couple things, and before I even get to the economic development side, I want to just thank you. A couple of things lately that it's been great to work with the city on, just in addition to economic development. One was the hydrant party. Shay, you rocked it. It was a great thing, I think. But truly, it brings people out. And more than once, I had people come up to me and say, I like living in West Point, but things like this just like send it over the top. And I think we can't do that every day. We can't create that every day. But I think just it was a beautiful moment, and I think a lot of people really took that to heart. And it definitely wasn't me, because I wasn't down there with the water, and I wasn't the one that created the street or the farmers market necessarily, that venue, but it was because of you. So I thank you for that. And with the farmers market too, the city, Dave Schroeder, has helped us with electricity, and that's been huge to bring in some of the other vendors. And some of those vendors, it's been amazing. So now I'll kind of segue into economic development. Is since we've started the farmers market, we've had businesses like Rustic Riverside Mercantile open a storefront. They got their start at the farmers market here. Once they started selling out every weekend, they started going to Village Point, and then they ended up with a storefront because they had built their business to that level. I think Eliza Brunsing is another example of that. Had her Brunsing eggs, ended up with the hog yard, and now she's got the storefront local, which is huge. And I know that it's the little things that truly matter to those people, like her being able to even just have her mural go down onto the alley to get that okay, just does something to their confidence and just sees that partnership, and it means so much to them. So I know that she's very thankful, and I just want to pass that along to other businesses. And it's not because of us necessarily or the farmers market. They probably would have grown anyways. But like Zobel's, we're holding a grand opening and a ribbon cutting on the new building they've created out at their location. And there's just some other things that have spawned up because of the work at the farmer's market. So sometimes that kind of seems fluffier, at least it does for me. It's kind of one of those soft economic development activities, but it has really created brick and mortar difference. So I want to thank you for that. Other things going on are kind of all listed in there. I know that David, I think or maybe it was the representative from DED that made reference to the economic development analysis that they're working on, and talking to Mo Collins, that's part of that. There's some things that I know that we talked about that I would love to move forward with, and I don't think I listed on here, but I want to broadcast it because sometimes you just have to plant a seed and then things happen. So I'm planting it here. One thing that West Point, and I don't think any other community in Cumming County has, is any Airbnb locations anymore. Waterman's used to have one, but it's been rented long-term. Skywave used to have one above their location, and that's being rented long-term. We get calls, we get calls in the chamber office, and people will say, I didn't see any Airbnb or any Vrbo sites online. Do you know of any that we have this or that coming up? A lot of family reunions, they're looking for that. And so it's one of those things, it's good and bad. Obviously, all of our properties are being rented long-term, but people are looking for that, and when we'll offer, well, we have 2 hotels, they're like, that's okay. And it's like, dang, then they're gonna choose somewhere else. And places like Takema, for some reason, have a ton of Airbnb locations. Wayne does, I think they have 23 or 28. And again, they're a college town, so it's a little different, but I think that it is a way to capture some revenue and get some people staying in town that might choose other places, just because I think that's becoming the norm. So if you have anybody who has a rental property or would be interested in creating one, we can bring people in with the Cumming County Economic Development, and Mo Collins through that process are willing to bring some people in to teach them and talk to them, because I'm sure there's some people that it seems a little bit scary. How does that work? What are the risks? What have other property owners encountered? And we can have somebody help talk them through that process and how it works and the safeguards that are in place. So that's one of those things I'm just kind of throwing out. As far as actual things, obviously we know the Bohemian Duck has closed, so they were on the passport program. So we, in conjunction with the brewery, are stamping passports. We stamp anywhere from probably 4 to 20 some a day, almost every day that we're open, which is crazy. People are coming through town, and just in the month of June, there was 400 people that stopped in and did the digital check-in at our inclusive playground. So kind of a cool thing. I'm going to be putting in my newsletter this week that they do a holiday passport to see if anybody might feel like they fit for that. Otherwise, hopefully we can get someone another unique business, because we have plenty of them on that passport program again in the future. I know when Red Door was on there, they said they had a ton of extra traffic too. So it's a cool thing. Also looking at getting that business into new hands, and I'm hopeful on that. I'm hoping the turnaround is quick, and I'm confident. Other things, I don't know if there's anything you saw on there that you had any questions about. Otherwise, I just really appreciate your investment in us and in the community and your partnerships. We've been doing this for years, and I'm always amazed you guys always step up for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Yeah, thanks, Tina, I'd just like to add, I signed 6 of those passports too. They were down in the park, and they wanted, well, then they said, well, the Ducks closed, and I said, well, I can sign it, I'm the mayor. And they just said, okay, can you? And they did, all right. I said, well,
Never
I
get
signed.
any more official than that.
Yeah,
Well,
but they were from out of town, and they were just, older people, and they just, we don't know what we're gonna do. And
Yeah.
I said, I'll sign it for you. Yeah.
They can do the digital check-in, but a lot of them like that hard stamp to send in, and they have a book and then a fold-out pamphlet, and they want both of them done.
Yeah.
We're number 69, and we're right in the center of the other, so page 27. But what was I going to say? I can't even remember. But yeah, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. Okay, any other questions? If not, I invite you all down to the fireworks show tonight. Thank you to everyone who helped spread the word. I think there was 80-some shares, even the Fremont Tribune picked it up, but the radio station and our local newspaper were huge. Jerry, I know it wasn't an easy decision, but I know a lot of people were okay with it.
Yeah, I was perfectly fine with it. It's also the wind, not just the
Yeah.
rain and everything. But I think there's must be a lot of dads people living in West Point that God is not giving us rain when He separates some clouds. It makes a whole.
I said I was more upset about not getting the rain for the farmers
yeah,
on my own
absolutely.
lawn than,
Absolutely.
yeah. But it would have been an extremely stressful day yesterday had we not made that decision when we did, and I know our vendors were extremely happy, so, yeah.
I was awake at 4 a.m. and I left the house at whenever 7. And my guts are just turning because we've never done this before. So, but when a lot of other towns,
Yeah, a lot of
yeah,
other
we were
towns
going
do
to
that.
do that. So
It was good choice.
I assume they're getting ready down there.
They're all, it's packed, it's beautiful. The inflatables were happy, they said this has happened almost every weekend to them this year at some location, like Big Bang Boom. But they didn't call theirs on Saturday until 4 o'clock, so they were all set up. And had to turn around and come back on Sunday. I mean, it was good, but they were happier knowing in advance, so thank you. Yeah, okay. If no questions,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
We'll move on then. Oh, that's right. Motion to accept the report and approve the payment of $5,000 for services for the economic development for April, May, and June.
I'll make the motion.
Motion made by Rusty, seconded by Tom. Cast your votes. Okay. Number 5, JEO Generation Scope of Services. Mr. Peterson.
Dave Peterson is here from JEO. He's going to kind of walk us through. We talked about the scope of services for that potential generation project that we're looking at. Include those scopes in your packets. One is for the demolition and removal of the Enterprise and the Bush, and the other one is for bringing in the additional units. With that, I'll let Dave take it from there.
Okay, thank you. Pleased to be here. And I think Tom covered we actually have it as 2 separate agreements, but one is to do the removal of the engines. And then the other one is to assist with the purchasing of 4 2-megawatt generators. 2 would be on the 1247 side and 2 would be on the 5 kV system. And then we're going to be developing a switch gear such that both generators or all the generators could be used for the entire system basically. So be interconnected. Come up with a couple different options there and go through all of that. So we've got some work to do. 2 of the ends would replace or hopefully go inside where we're taking the demolition out. And 2 of the other units are anticipated to be sitting outside. And I think we're planning to have, as far as the schedule, most of the work completed and ready for bidding yet this year. And bidding in January and construction to start next year.
Yeah, pending delivery of the units.
Pending the delivery of
Right.
the units.
Because these are units that are coming out of data centers or something similar to that, so they're on a schedule too.
Yep, this would be similar to Scribner's 2 units that we've got sitting over there.
That's what I was gonna ask, they're gonna look like the ones that got sitting outside.
There's 2 of those units that are available that are enclosures that are similar to what Scribner has sitting there now. And I think the other 2 we were looking at without enclosures and they would go inside the building. But I think the 2 units that were full enclosures, if I remember right, they were virtually self-contained. I'd have to go back and look at those, but that's some of the spec we need.
But they would still go inside the buildings, right?
No. The
Oh.
two of them we were talking about setting outside by the 7200 transformer.
Oh, okay.
Transformer.
So, yeah, we've got some work to do.
We did.
Get your reliability back a little bit. And we would plan the system such that as you guys continue to convert your system over to the 17-1247, we could accommodate that. So that'll be incorporated into what we're trying to
The other part of this too is it's going to take power review board approval and everything to bring all this online, and that's all included in that scope of services
Yeah.
for the installation. And working with me, and working with Cumming County Public Power District, and LB and PPD also will be involved because of their substation.
And emission permitting,
Yeah.
to revise all your emission permits and get that all back in order again.
It takes permits to take all the old stuff out, you have to have permits to do that.
I don't think we're going to have such an issue taking the old stuff out. Just bringing the new units in is going to take permitting because of the Rice-Neshap rules.
Right. It'll require decommissioning, so then you'll take the emissions out of it that way, but then adding back in the new that we're putting in, and the new engines will have different outputs than the old ones, so that's why you'll decommission and bring the new ones in and get authorization and not meet or try to. You're going for a class 2 permit, so that's that gives you basically 100 ton. So then there'll be restrictions to keep you under that 100 ton based on how many emissions each of the engines will run, and it'll give you the number of hours that basically falls under your permit. But of course, then if there's an emergency, then you're basically
Outside
to go to unlimited hours. But a lot of times this is for like load reduction and stuff, but you guys really aren't looking at load reduction so much. You're more interested in the backup side of it.
Take one of those and pass it down. One of the things that we're looking at is with me, there's an integrated resources pooling agreement. This is, let me see, take one of those and pass it down there. Basically, what I asked them to do at meeting was to give us a load and capability report that's condensed. And the reason I say condensed is the whole integrated resources plan is 667 pages long. I didn't think we want to go through 667 pages tonight. So what you're getting right now is just a basic snapshot of future requirements and how this is going to play into the generation needs for me. And when the green energy comes more and more online, like the wind turbines and the solar, we're looking for quick start units, and that's what the bill that these units will fit, along with getting lease capacity payments from me. We currently get right around $100,000 a year in lease capacity payments from me for the existing units we have there. So if we double the capacity to 8 megawatts, you can safely figure close to $200,000 a year that we'd be receiving from me for capacity. Now, if you remember last council meeting, we talked about me opening the moratorium for us, allowing us to get into that generation aspect. So we will have an opportunity to sell them that capacity, and they will compensate us for that capacity.
So all of our transformers will handle it. We're not going to change any transformers on the poles or anything?
Oh yeah, well, no, we're going to have to change transformers on the poles and everything eventually.
Eventually, but we don't have to do it all at once.
No, we don't have to do it all at once. And one of the things that we were talking about, and that's part of the scope of services here, is with the 2 units that are going to go inside, they're going to generate at 12,470, and our capacity on the inside there is 4,160. So there'll be a step-down transformer to tie into that. That's what's going to make up that portion of the difference that we lost when we lost the Enterprise, which is right around 4 megawatts when that went. The other 2 units that Dave was talking about that are going to sit outside will be able to feed north and south on that new 7200, and we'll be able to carry that load. Right now, we have no capability of carrying that load at all.
I was without power for an hour Saturday when I was at the office.
For an hour? Oh, yeah, that's his fault. We had what'd you say it was, an insulator?
That insulator out at
By-
Valmont.
I figured it was the storms around us.
No.
So, I give you credit.
No, I didn't think you was off, and I didn't think it was off. But anyway, we hurried as fast as we could because we had to find it and then put a few grounds up, and then it hurried up because it was lightning was coming. And
Right.
I don't like to have the guys up in the air when it's lightning.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, when you look at the IRP that I just handed out, you can see where some of the shortages are, and it's going to turn in a little bit long, depending on how everything comes together with all the agreements it means going through right now with the existing loads. But you can also see that spread out over a lot of years, because there's long-term commitments for that energy, and Maine is tied into that for that long-term energy. So the other goal is to be carbon neutral by 2050. That's why the IRP exists as the way it does. Go for it, Shane. It looks like you have a question.
I have a question. I mean, we've been talking about being carbon neutral for decades. I'm sure it's never going to happen. So even while we're talking about it.
You're still required as an entity to project when you can be carbon neutral.
Sure we are.
And so from an economic basis, what being adopted was 2050.
Sounds great.
So
Carbon neutral.
Tom's exactly right. The capacity is, the cost of capacity are going up, and with us trying to trend towards renewables, the backup generation and the instant start is becoming more of a need for it. We're seeing that across the board, even with NPPD, so that falls right in line with what the state's trying to do.
and some of the discussions right now going on with Maine is they're looking at that as being a valued asset, that it could potentially be valued more so than the base load units, because these can react much quicker than the other 3 units we have there, because those can take up to 20 minutes, half hour to put on the board, where these units are virtually, you flip the switch and they're going.
And we're actually anticipating this such that we shouldn't have any issues. And we're not anticipating any issues with the Power Review Board
No.
accepting our proposal. Hopefully it goes smooth. That's what we'll try to keep everybody in the loop and make all contacts and follow our protocols like we always do and get it through. We helped Wisner with their project a while back.
Right. So what this is going to provide you, I mean, this isn't by any means a final decision, but it's going to give you hard numbers to take a look at as to what it's going to cost, by going through the process. I think it's money well invested. I think we've got some great opportunities to get some units at a reasonable cost. But it's going to cost you some money to get there.
Yeah. And that's what we discussed, and we authorized to even go down this
Right.
We got to spend a little money to figure out, make sure this
Make sure this is what we want to do.
right.
So do we just have like if this goes through, do we just have like a tank of diesel fuel just sitting down there, or?
You do now.
Well, I'm gonna be like, so how long does that? I mean, how long is that diesel fuel good for?
They put conditioner in it, and with the cycle times that they exercise the units, so they'll run on diesel. So there'll be a turnover. I want to say that last outlet outage we had, we went through 6,000 gallons of diesel. We hold 10,000 gallons, so we had more fuel come in. So it does turn over a period of time. It does have fuel stabilizer, and it's monitored.
So I mean, if other than the outage, how often are we using that diesel fuel that's down there right now?
Weekly?
Yeah.
Just on
Exercise.
the checks, right? Like
Right.
on a system checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have a number with the purchase of the generators and all of this other stuff, what the total cost might be?
It's a dartboard number, if you really want that, I mean, I can't, we were thinking, what, 3.5, 4 million? I mean, that's a very dartboard number.
Right, that's part of this.
Are there grants, or is this something that the ratepayers?
This will come through the ratepayers.
Yeah.
Not just out of the electrical fund.
Well, that's still the
That's
ratepayers.
the-
Well, I mean, but we're not planning on that.
Right.
I mean, normally, I mean, like with the water, I mean, just raise that. So I was just asking if you were planning on raising the rates for the electrical.
I don't at this time, no.
Okay.
Okay.
Until we know what the numbers are,
There's nothing to go on.
right. And I think that's why we need to pin this thing down, and then that's when the big decision, that's when you can make the big decision. If you want to, buy them outright, if you want to bond them, if you want to put it on the ratepayers,
Yeah.
that'll come through you.
But again, part of it will be compensated back through the capacity.
Right.
So you're not burdening all of it, but
Certainly. Yeah.
of course, there is something to say for having a backup when you need it too. So
Is there grants?
Those come.
I'm glad you're here today.
I'm sure there is.
There's got to be,
That's
right?
something.
Something.
I'll look Friday.
Ryan, you can bake cookies and do a bake sale.
Help me. Not me.
I think grants for this are going to be a little bit more challenging because of
Right.
what we're trying to do here and what we're doing here. The other side of the coin is you're paying for the tax credits that everybody else is getting by putting in solar and wind turbines.
Right.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Anyone? So your fee for demolition is $51,000, right? Is that for the engineering on that? It's just the removal.
that's the one part, yes.
It's 298,000.
Well,
That's for the installation.
That's for that's professional services.
This is to, that 51,000 is to find people to get them things out of there, whether it goes
Do an
to
RFP.
a salvage company or somebody that wants to tear them apart and sell the steel.
Sure.
To work both sides of it.
And that's why I asked them to break this down. One is what we're looking at, just to remove the old Enterprise and the Bush, and then installing the new units. They're two separate agreements, two scope of services we're looking at.
So that's going to cost us to remove that stuff on top of the 51,000. So, is there any idea what it's going to take to? I mean,
I honestly,
that number will get you to that.
What's
number.
that?
yeah, I honestly don't, I mean,
It's hard to even say. What is that
I can't
enterprise?
remember what it cost Crete to have theirs taken out.
What's that enterprise? $2 million?
Wisner did it themselves mostly. Rockport, that was another one over in Missouri that we started helping, but they actually sold those as salvage. The spare parts, they wanted spare parts for other units in the United States. Several companies did, so they came in and actually did it for free for the parts.
We've been trying to sell these parts for years.
We're gonna work to contact all of those people and find out if there's any interest and see if we can't make this a national deal. I mean, contact those companies. That's where the efforts are. I mean, to develop that inventory list and then find those people.
Well, we've already been trying to sell them for years and it hasn't worked. Is that what you're saying?
We've been working through the markets that we deal in. They're pretty localized. And I don't know how far they reach, but
Yeah, it's probably going to be more of a paid scrap exercise.
like X-Line and who are the couple of them down there in Wichita? Down Ursulina. X-Line is one of them.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you names. Sorry, that is one thing that I'm terrible at is remember names.
And one of the downfalls is, number one, the Bush has nothing in it that's meets today's standards even close. I mean, you can almost get a little own generator now that will put out as much as that old Bush did. And then the other side of it is the enterprise has got such a bad reputation. People are getting away from them, you know, for parts.
Maybe them kids that hang around that back lot at the theater, I mean, get them to demolition. I see they demolition that stove sitting back there.
Oh, did they really?
Tore it to shreds
Really?
last night. So maybe I could round them guys up. I've talked to them a couple times. That could be their penalty. Tear the start with the bush, tear it apart. I'll work on that.
Next year.
Yeah. More questions for Dave? Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Proceed on this.
I need a motion. We probably got to make a motion second to approve the scope of services if they want to go that route.
Somebody make a motion for the scope services.
I'll make the motion.
Second, Rusty made the motion, seconded by Tom. Cast your votes. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Nice
So,
job.
Thank you very much. Look forward to working with you.
Clarifying that was for both of them, right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, item 6, special designated liquor permit for Rush's for the Columbus meal on Wednesday, July 26, 2023 at GA Cafeteria. Make a motion. Motion made by Shay,
Second that.
seconded by Ryan. Okay. Item 7, approval of council affiliated claim of Hugo Plumbing and Heating for services and supplies.
Hardly anything.
Thank you.
Need a motion to approve this?
Make that motion.
Motion made by Mark,
I'll second.
seconded by Rusty. Item 8, schedule the budget workshop meeting for 2023-2024.
April? Usually we do this around the July. She just shook her head. 26th or 27th. So that doesn't give you enough time.
I'd rather do 26 because it's all gone most of that rest of the week.
What day was that? 26th or 27th of July. It's Wednesday, Thursday.
Either one's fine with me.
I think so.
Anybody else?
26 or 27 doesn't matter.
Pick a day. 26.
27th, you're going to Omaha that night.
26th.
We're flying out really early the next morning.
It's a long ways away.
26 work for everybody?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully Kathy will have it ready by then.
So, okay, so we got that set.
You need to make that motion.
Motion. Need that in motion?
I'll make that one.
Wednesday the 27th. 26th. I mean.
26.
Rusty made the motion, seconded by Shay. Cast your votes. Okay. Then I got an ordinance adopting a pay plan for the employees of the city.
Shay and I had a little discussion on this, what was it, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
About the pay plan and the structure of it, comparing to some of the local businesses and where we were starting our pay rates at. So what we did was there are 3 pay plans in front of you. What you'll notice, one of the first things is we used to have a grade 1A. We totally did away with that because it wasn't anywhere close to some of the competitive numbers that you and I were talking about, Shay. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 plans in front of you. One is basic 2.5%. The second one is a 5%, and the third one is a 7.5%. You know, when you look at the numbers, you look at what the feds are doing, I think the feds are doing, what, 8% now, a little over 8 again this year. But they're also coming back and stating that they're not planning to do anything the following year. Now, whether or not that holds water, that's anybody's guess. Those are the numbers we have to work with. Where would you like to land? We did run up some of the numbers. Basically, what we did is we took the last 9 months and we just took the average of that because we wanted to include the summer help and see what the financial impact was. We have right around a $2 million payroll budget. So on a monthly basis, a 7.5% increase would be $16,313. A 5% would be right around $11,000, and a 2.5% would be $5,437.
What did we do? We did it 5% last time we did this.
We did 10 last
We
year.
did 10,
We did
right,
10,
yeah. Just to get.
That's how we got into July. Yeah. And one of the things that we were talking about was, what'd you say, Shay? McDonald's, right? We were talking about right around $14, $15 an hour. Starting wage. So when you start looking at that, that's where you get into that, $13.95, just going 7.5%.
Yep.
Just based on the numbers. The 5% gets you $13.61, and
that's the problem. I mean, we try to hire these positions that are starting positions, and you can't get anyone to apply.
Right.
You know?
Yes. How many of these grade 1A people?
Yeah.
Are there, how many positions are there of that in the?
That we're actually at that.
a lot of them are your summer help.
Right.
Your summer help kids that you're bringing in.
So we have 0 right now.
I mean, so
lifeguards.
You what?
We have 0. We don't have lifeguards, do we?
Yeah.
We work.
Oakland.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We work interlocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why I say when we took the average of the numbers, I wanted to make sure that we included some of the summer help.
Right.
When we looked at the numbers there. So
But generally speaking, there's not that many 1A positions that are full time.
they cycle out.
Right.
It's if you bring on a new lifeguard, that's where the kid starts.
No, I'm saying full time positions.
Oh, full time?
No.
No.
In
Kind of the breakdown is, Shay, if you look on the back side there, that one sheet, it has the positions.
This one. There you go.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I just think we need to stay very, very competitive with as many people as we're going to have coming up for retirement.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
We're going to have, 80% in the next 5 years?
When you look at the categories that we have here, those are typically based on the same descriptions of the cities that we count when we do comparability. So, we shift them around into that pay bracket. That's why you see some numbers there, some numbers are missing. But the scale still goes.
And even, I hate saying this, but even you look at the 5 to 7.5, it's just not that much different. You know what I mean? It's not even when we did the 10 last year, it wasn't, it was helpful, but it wasn't.
It's helpful. It gets you into that closer.
Right.
And that's basically what you're doing here too. If you choose to go to the 7.5 or even the 5, you're getting a little more competitive.
Right.
I think when you look at the job market, you could probably still say you're not quite there yet.
We've talked about this for the last couple of years. Private enterprise has far surpassed municipalities.
Yeah, and you've moved.
It used to be the other way.
Yeah, we've moved the goalposts quite a bit.
People don't run away from our jobs.
No, they don't.
They either get pissed off and quit, or other reasons, get fired, but people don't quit.
But we have a lot
So,
we're gonna have to.
so what does that mean? That means that I think we're very competitive. You think about it. Otherwise, why aren't we right now experiencing with COVID and everything, people going all over the place? We haven't. So, I mean,
Just wait till we have a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds working here.
I guess that's what I'm looking at when we're talking about the
That's gonna
workforce.
be a nightmare.
Like the last couple of linemen we hired. It's going to be
They can go anywhere and
it's
make
going to
more
be
money.
changing from.
Exactly.
They can go anywhere and make more money.
Yeah.
And then,
They can go right next door and
a
make
lot
more
more
money.
than, a lot more than they're making here.
Right.
But I think, I don't know what you guys are, but I think you're definitely attracting, you might hold those guys for what you're doing.
Right.
Well, I would make a motion that we accept the 7.5%.
I'll second that.
That's an ordinance,
Yeah,
so we have to go through that.
Debbie will read the ordinance.
City of West Point, Nebraska ordinance number 1440. An ordinance of the City of West Point, Nebraska adopting a plan for certain officers and all employees, repealing ordinance number 1426 and all other motions, resolutions, and ordinances in conflict with this ordinance, prescribing the time when this ordinance shall be in force and take effect, and to provide for the publication of the ordinance in pamphlet form.
Okay, I just need a motion to introduce and suspend the 3 readings.
So moved.
Motion made by Tom, seconded by Rusty. Cast your votes. Okay, I need a motion for final passage.
So moved.
Second. Motion made by Tom, seconded by Mark.
You need to make a statement in there that it's the 7.5%.
She's got it.
Okay.
You need to vote. I knew I'd get back at you. All right. Item 3. Resolution number 2023-14 to approve the application and payment number 6 in the amount of $295,026.16 to Christensen Construction Company for the West Point Aquatic Center. This should be payment number 9. Then I had one way. How come they're different here?
I'm going to say the payout numbers.
No, they're wrong. It should be that.
Mine says 533.
Right, it should be 533,940.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got the wrong one on here. So it's 533, 949.6.
Yep.
Make the motion. Motion made by Mark. Seconded by Shay. Okay, then I got a resolution number 2023-15 to approve the appointment of Tom Glett and Ron Doggett as a representative alternate representing on the Board of Directors of the Municipal Energy Agency of Nebraska, the Mean Management Committee, and the Members Council of Nebraska Municipal Pool.
That's one of the choices, or what?
Well, right now, this is a change from when Bruce was originally appointed. But no, it's not your only choice.
Shay made the motion. I'll second. Seconded by Rusty. Cast your votes. Okay. Reports. Today, Kathy Mahana, myself, Dave Wimmer, and Tom, we went through the walked through the pool area. That thing's huge.
It's huge.
It's huge.
I went and looked at it the other day. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
It's a good thing it rains on the weekend, so they can work during the week.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It's impressive. They're moving along
Yeah.
pretty good.
I saw, did you see the drone footage of it?
Oh yeah,
That's
I haven't seen that.
that was I seen that last night. Yeah, but yeah, it's and Kathy's really excited.
starting to come together.
Yep, there's a lot of concrete and a lot of rebar.
There is.
That's all I have. Tom.
I really don't have anything this round. I think we covered most of it in the agenda.
Mark?
Nope.
Mr. Hugo?
I do, but I'm not gonna bring anything up.
Rusty?
Good?
Tom?
I discussed with Tom, we had discussed it one time about doing some armor coating on some streets. And right now we're planning, I think we're planning anyway, to do Bridge Street around that corner.
Right.
But I just want you to think about it, because Oakland has a 5-year program over there where they do so many streets a year and for 5 years. And we've got a lot of streets in this town that need some work. So if we do this and you're satisfied with it, I think we need to maybe consider working up some sort of a plan like that. That's it.
Thank you. See how it works out. Yeah. Ryan?
What?
I said we'll just have to see how it all
Yeah,
works out.
yeah.
Because they're currently contacting an outfit that does it, right?
They're working with the county. And they're not going to be able to get in here until October is what the schedule was that they gave us earlier this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Monday.
But, Ryan?
Nothing for me.
Shake?
I just have one thing, which is, I think we talked about this before, and there's a couple articles again in the paper this week about water restrictions. And I guess just kind of want to clarify once again in a public setting. To me, it seems like we're in a water restriction, but yet I keep hearing that we're not. It just seems fishy. I can't quite figure it out.
The Lower California NRD has you in the T4 drought, which is but the highest level you can go.
Right.
Now, based upon the area of that drought, it doesn't specifically blanket everything. When we look at our wells, we look at our drawdowns, we're not seeing any significant changes there at this time. It doesn't mean like later on down in the winter or into the summer, it isn't going to change. But we're not seeing that fluctuation. We historically haven't. Now, the other side of it is, and you mentioned it too, it's in the paper. It's been all over the news, the drought. People are not watering their lawns any less. So, that's the other side of it when you look at what our usage is. We're still running about that 1.2 to 1.3 million gallons a day. If you look at when we get a little bit of a rain, even though it's quarter inch or half inch or less, we might drop down to 750, 800,000 gallons. But otherwise, it's been fairly steady. Everything's been steady.
Sure. But we are in a water restriction.
No, we're not restricting water usage.
No, but the city of West Point, according to the LENRD, is in a water restriction.
We're in D4. We're in that drought, yes.
Which is a water restriction.
No.
I don't think so. I don't see it that way.
I get that, but I guess what's the difference if they say it and it's in writing,
Right.
and they passed it
Right.
3 times now? Then I don't know if it's like how we see it. I'm not saying that we as a city should impose a water restriction. I'm just saying that
Okay.
are we or are we not, according to them, in a water restriction? Whether our wells are high or not.
We're in a D4 drought. We are classified in that drought.
Which
yes.
means what?
So is that like we're recommended not to use a bunch of water?
Right. Well,
These are
but the flip
recommended.
side of it is if you want to take it literal and you take a look at their water restrictions, they're allowing 250 gallons per well, right?
Per capita, right?
Per well.
Per well.
Per capita per well.
It doesn't say per well on there.
Except per capita.
It says per capita.
So, that's still going to get you right around 1 million gallons.
3,300 times 250 is
36.
Well, that's not. Okay, 36. If you times 36, I believe that's 900,000 gallons.
If you want to implement a water restriction,
I don't.
we certainly,
I'm just saying.
can.
We keep saying that we're not, but it just seems like if they put it in writing, it just seems like we
I don't see it. I don't agree with them.
Well, it doesn't matter if you agree with them, does it?
Yeah.
Okay, but let me ask you.
Because I don't agree with them because I'm the one that's responsible for the water system. I'm the licensed operator. I'm the guy they're going to come to if there's a water problem. So, no, I don't have to agree with them. And I would also argue the point with them.
Maybe we should do it.
Are they an authority having jurisdiction that can do anything anyway?
It depends on who you ask.
I mean, that's.
Are there any communities that are, in doing anything drastic, like putting any water restrictions,
Yeah, because they have mechanical problems.
other than mechanical problems?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, really, everyone
If-
other than
if-
myself should not water their lawns.
If
Is that an oasis?
Well, the NRD is allowing the irrigators to put another 5 inches
I saw that.
of water.
I saw that.
You
Yeah.
know,
On the same
and that's
ground.
On the same ground. So they, and we're all in the same area, so.
But see, I don't understand where they think they have the authority over a municipal system.
Well, and there's no repercussions regardless.
No.
So how is that enforced then?
And that's been an ongoing
So
conversation.
I think from the standpoint is, we're in a drought. The city of West Point, we believe that people should conserve water.
Other than Rusty.
Other than me. Right.
And there's no boundaries where the water is. We have our lot size, our wells where we draw, but that water comes across property lines. I mean, so we're all tied, everybody's tied together on this water situation. But, I mean, so we just have to be aware. I mean, people that water every single day are idiots.
Yeah, thanks for the clarification on that, Rusty.
Since when have you not watered every day?
I water 3 times a week.
Well, yeah, they let the sprinklers run for 15 minutes. All they do is get the grass wet. Nothing goes in the
You gotta go
grass.
for 35 minutes.
So you
I
can't,
run mine maybe once every week and a half to 2 weeks and let it run for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So good.
Good dirt.
I'm just saying from a public conservation standpoint, it appears that we're in a water restriction. And that I just think that us saying that we're not, just because our wells are high doesn't mean that, maybe our wells being fine is affecting people further down. With what we're getting our water.
we've only done it once, right? I mean, you can only water on 5 days or even days. We did that.
We've never done it since I've been here, Jerry.
Well, I know we've done it. Somewhere along the line, this city's done it. Because-
Probably have, but
Because I went around and set a lot of controllers for people
Yeah,
that,
we never have. I recall,
John Adams out there.
I was talking to Dennis about that the other day too, and we came close a few times with the old reservoir system,
I water Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and call it good.
Yeah, that's when I do it.
but
No wonder my pressure's low. You're watering too.
I water at night when you're not supposed to.
But you as a governing body, you can set that restriction if you want
No,
to
I
set
don't want to
it.
set a restriction. I'm just saying, we're the technically, according to the people that.
So we're not gonna argue that the whoever they are, they're saying we should conserve water,
Right,
right?
Yeah.
Your statement?
they are
Yeah,
saying
that's
that.
fact. I'm just trying to figure out if we're agreeing that it's a fact that they're saying.
We disagree with it apparently.
No,
No, we agree that they said it, we disagree with doing it.
Yeah, thanks, Rusty.
I'm just,
Yeah.
footnotes here.
Well, I mean, so far we haven't agreed. I mean, until now, we didn't agree that they said it practically, so I'm glad we agreed that they said it.
Now we agree.
Well, they said it.
They
It's
said it, I mean, it's been in the news, it's been in the paper, and they did it last year too. And we're still questioning whether or not they have the authority over municipalities.
And I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying that we're.
But if you credit them for that, they're gonna think they have authority over
I'm not
municipalities.
crediting no
That's
name.
wrong.
I'm just saying that they say.
But
I mean, authority is what you give people, right?
however you want to do it, Shay. I'm just saying, as long as I'm responsible for the water system, that's how I see it.
Listen, I'm not advocating for us to impose a water restriction on our citizens. Just what it appears to me. So, that's it.
Are you guys getting all this for the media? Okay.
Okay, just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Motion made by Tom, seconded by Rusty.
Rusty, just tell us our phone, then water out of the river to water your
Right.
grass or anything. That maybe.
Well, I would put my own little well in if that was legal to do.